Hard because the only influence that I have is, I send out his email, I send out his telephone call or his telephone number, and people are calling in and they're emailing. And so what he has done, so those first 2 days we had less coverage. So what he does now is he force hires vaccinated guys, right, to a rig. So on the third, this is comical. You guys will find it funny. The engine already had a guy hired for overtime. So they didn't cancel his overtime. They just force hired a paramedic extra, and he had to follow the engine in a pickup truck to call.
No way. Did they give him a city vehicle or is it his own truck? You gotta make all the sounds yourself, dude. Just head out the window. Woo! That's unbelievable. You can't make this stuff up, dude.
It's happening tomorrow. There's an extra paramedic. It's my buddy. He's following the truck. We have a 5-man truck. Tomorrow it's a 6-man truck because he's on the unclean crew, as it's called. And he's following the truck in a pickup truck to elevator calls. That's it. That's all they can do.
Incredible.
It's incredible.
Does your upper management call you the unclean crew? Or is that just a nickname?
No, this is the nickname, I think, between the guys on the floor. Like I said, I haven't been at the station since Friday, and just from talking to the guys, there's a lot of nicknames floating around. But
okay, because I was like, if that's coming from management, I'd be like, yeah, keep saying it. In fact, you should write that down. Please do. Say it on something public. I'd love.
Yeah, I mean that's how these guys feel. They're all qualified paramedics. September 30th, they were all doing their job, and at midnight they get yanked from doing their job, and now they're sidelined, and it's sad. And they're all up for evaluation. Not all of them, but the 14 guys with exemptions are up for evaluation at the end of the month. So there's an expiration date on their exemption.
I wanted to bring that up because I believe when I watched your video, you said it was a 30-day.
Yeah, 30 days.
It was 30 days. So they got 30 days to be reevaluated.
Yeah.
Were they given anything to maybe prepare or have some do they want documentation? Have you checked into whatever church you go to, or because you prove that you were here? None of that, right?
I don't think there was anything involved with that. And then when when mine was denied, again, there was no reasoning, no justification. But they want to evaluate in case their religious beliefs change in 30 days, I suppose. I think got
a lot stronger.
Yeah,
a lot stronger.
I think what they're trying to prove is these guys are going to be an undue, hardship. They're going to be a burden on the department. They're paying them their wages, which obviously, firefighters in California make pretty good money. Yeah. But it's what we're willing to do, obviously. But these guys are going to be sitting there on a rig, told not to respond, even if there's a choking person in front of the station. They're not supposed to. We won't do that. Of course, they'll go if they have to, but they cannot go anywhere else, and they're being ordered not to. And so, it's just incredible. It's incredible to me. I don't know. Sometimes I lose words,
Oh yeah, I don't know how to describe it. If 3 or 4 years ago, you would tell us that would happen to the fire department, I'd be like, bro, that's some science fiction shit, dude. That's never going to happen. Or the fire department, That's it. Okay, so say your chief's name.
Chief Barton, Gregory Barton.
What's his phone number?
It's 310-281-2778.
Beautiful.
Give him a call. Give him a call and complain about the level of care, the level of service. Please tell him to let those men work because if they want to show that they're an undue hardship and remove their exemptions, they're going to be on the chopping block just like me at the end of the month, and that is wrong. They are meeting the mandate. Ask about the hypocrisies in the city. They are not including other labor groups. For example, PD. They are, EMTs, some are first responders, and I'm not trying to throw them under the bus, but at the same time, they carry medical kits on their cars, and they're involved with 10 to 20% of our calls.
Wow.
If they really cared about public health, why are we having LA County paramedics coming and responding on calls when they're who knows their vaccine status?
I was going to say that.
Right? No one knows. And then the guys who are vaccinated are showing up and just screening with no testing, and we know for a fact guys that are vaccinated can still carry it and spread it.
Oh, yeah.
So they're more dangerous than the guys who are taking these tests, these PCR tests, and showing up negative.
Bell, dude. God,
especially
the spit game.
A healthcare worker who's vaccinated working on a non-vaccinated patient.
Yeah.
Right? Wouldn't that be the ultimate scenario? Someone possibly compromised being... Not that it's purposeful at all. I just mean that's the hypocrisy in this. No, this is how we're looking at it,
Yeah, exactly.
And what? So you guys have your own PD there, but what was it last week? Was it Villaraigosa? Mm-hmm. The LA County Sheriff.
Not Villagrosa. It's
he gone, bro.
Who's long gone? No, not Villaraigosa. Who's the
Villanuevo?
I'm so sorry.
Another Villa.
I got the first close. I got the first part right, and I really kicked myself because I was reading some stuff about this. But He came out and said that he's not going to force his staff. You know, the guys.
That's a leader.
I would say he's a true leader. Thank you, Josh.
And he said not that he thinks that getting the vaccine is wrong.
Right.
You know, in fact, I think he said that he encourages it. But the reality is that he understands that there's enough people that this might affect without delaying the effectiveness of the department, right? We're still providing the service. We're doing our jobs very well, mind you. And now you're willing to cut percentages, right, of good men and women out there who would give their lives for people they don't even know, right? I mean, isn't that the shit of all of this?
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, the reality of it is like, we really want to take a step back. You are affecting a group of people that have chosen a life of, I mean, look, obviously.
It's a life of service and sacrifice.
It's service. It's selflessness. And like, I'm not trying to pat ourselves on the back, but I'm saying if we really take a step back and look what we were willing to do, obviously we get paid. But this is what we strive for. All the things that you listed that went through the process to get here, to finally be able to do it. And no matter how shitty it is, how bad it is, and how much we might complain about it because we're up all night and we run on the same person all the time, blah, 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 blah. You know what we do? We show up. We show up with a smile on our face and we help you out in your moment of need. But that's what I think this is so awesome, to be able to talk about these things from a perspective difference. Right? Because they might hear the fire chief going, oh, this is what we're doing. And it's like, no, you need to hear from the people on the floor that are working it.
Yes.
You know, because it's like, you don't get that on the mainstream level, right? The average person that turns on the TV and the news, they don't hear stuff like this. They're not going to get that, you know, unless you know somebody that you can call and talk to. You might think, oh, these guys are just being jerks. They just don't want to be told what to do, whatever, right? Very dismissive perception. And that's absolutely wrong, in my opinion. And I think the more it gets talked about, the more it gets pushed out there, the more people that, like, one, take a second and look some things up. You know, you could really dive into the information. Look at this entire COVID thing when they're talking about stacking bodies up in the ER parking lots and all this stuff. See how many people didn't show up to work for the fire department, for the ambulance workers, for the PD. See how many people didn't do it. You'd be very surprised. We were all tripping for a little bit, at least I was, first couple weeks. I'm like, this is pretty crazy, you know? But you still did it. And that's the part that I was like, now we're entering in that all that time, all that service, all that commitment, all the loyalty, all the extra miles that you go through to make your department look great to the public because that's who you serve. Now it doesn't matter.
And it changed like that.
Right.
I mean, from August till now, and our city we've had a great relationship with our city as far as our department is concerned. Our association, our city, we scratch each other's backs. We always try to make each other look good. And we knew it'd pay dividends in the end and all that kinds of stuff. So we always were aiming towards that. And I think that was part of the problem in the beginning with the association too, is they were going in with that good faith thinking that would pay off, right? Like everything we've done to make them look good, it'll pay off. But, that was thrown out the window when our city manager was just like, nope, I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter the relationship we have. I'm throwing that out the window. And it's gone. It is completely gone.
What's the city manager's name?
George Chavez.
George Chavez. What's his email?
You can email him at gchavez@beverlyhills.org.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Please email him and tell him you're disgusted with their behavior. I appreciate it.
And of course, the whole city council's on board, right?
John Murish has been the most vocal. We've had a couple back and forths on social media. The rest of them have been pretty quiet, to be honest with you. 2 of them were on vacation in Europe, but yeah, they're all on board with it. Obviously, none of them are calling down. They're saying, "Hey, hold on a second, guys. What are you guys doing?" Yeah. None of them are stepping up and letting us choose for ourselves. And in fact, none of them are stepping up and even letting the chief run the department. Of course, he's being influenced by HR on how to operate, and they're saying it, pretty openly. I have an email that I put out on my social media account, and it basically just says, yeah, we're unfortunately being influenced by outside forces. And the public needs to know how serious that is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to become a firefighter alone and then to become the chief of the department, the hundreds and thousands of hours in training and qualifications, knowledge, experience, all these different things come together to allow the chief to be able to run the department smoothly and operate it safely for the community. So when you have a city manager or the head of HR who know nothing about public service, and especially the fire service, how can they make operational changes? Like, what's their playbook? They don't know what they're doing.
No, not at all, dude. It's God, dude. I feel like what you're going through is kind of a benchmark. You and the Firefighters for Freedom. It's an interesting spot to be in, and I hope that through this podcast, what we're doing, and you reaching out to people, I hope it starts getting the community into the people. The people need to know exactly what's going on, because I do feel like a lot of times, and we've seen this in many departments, city council and chiefs feel like they are untouchable. The hell you aren't. I don't think so. You're here to serve us. You know what I'm saying? So what? Okay, your fire chief's name is. Let me see. I had it right here.
Greg Barton.
Greg Barton. Can I say hi to Greg real fast?
Yeah, if he answers.
Shoot. Greg Barton, you are the fire chief of Beverly Hills Fire Department. You have forgotten where you have come from. You are a coward. You are not standing by your personnel. Stop protecting your paycheck and playing politics. You are here to serve your firefighters who are risking their lives to protect their community. Start being a man, step up, and support your firefighters. You're a coward. All right, I'm good. Thank you. Go throw that one out.
I was trying to selfie while you're thinking. I thought you were actually calling him. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
No,
we didn't talk about that at all.
He doesn't like phone calls. You can call him right now. He's going to go to
What's his phone
voicemail.
number? Fuck that. What's his phone number?
It's 310
310
281
281
2778. And he doesn't like phone calls.
Let's see if we can get him on here. See if he answers.
I wouldn't either in that position.
Yeah, I get it. But I mean, I feel like there's stuff that he could be doing, and the misdirection and the things that are happening are not right. I'm sorry. It's not right. It's not right. You can call me insubordinate, but if there was ever a time to be insubordinate, now is the time.
Well, again.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh. That'd have been neat to get him on a conference call just to really wing it.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, this is Tim Fisher. You're a coward. Do your job. Bye.
So, but that's the thing is that like you're using the term insubordinate. It's not insubordinate if the set of rules that the department is founded on, the written nomenclature, right? The one that actually by law can stop you from working there. If it doesn't address those things, then it's not a thing. This is all hearsay. That's why that's why it's like, it sounds very simple when someone says, "Oh, it's unconstitutional," right? Everyone says that when it comes to anything that they're talking about, really. But normally there are things you could link to this. This is one of those ones where, unless I haven't been talking to the right people, and I'm not saying that I know everything, and I'm always open to learn and to readjust my position on stuff. But I'll say one thing: I haven't heard anybody give me any argument or throwing out some statistics or facts or whatever you want to say, or even, how about this one, law that backs what they're doing. Right?
It's true.
I mean, that's really, at the end of the day, that's what this is. It's a push. It's, okay, top down, from the top down.
Starts with your leadership.
Well, I'm saying from the president down to the people down here. Our system bought in on something. Right? And they pushed, and they pushed, and they pushed, and they pushed. And it doesn't matter because, again, you can look up a lot of things and reinforce your personal choice. But at the end of the day, that's the part where this was affected. It got past that. It's past that. You're saying you're mandated. You can't work here unless you do this. And that's not just the fire department. That's going to be everything. And then even the last... was the infrastructure bill talking about businesses with over 100 people that you can potentially, because they can't tell you to fire people, but they can fine you $700,000 to $700,000 per infraction was, I believe, how it's written. What's happening here? You know what I mean? That's the thing, because it's like, look, at the end of the day, if this was like, okay, hey, if you... I don't think I want to go down that route. Talking about the effectiveness of the virus and has it, because I think everyone has a story and who it's impacted or lost loved ones, because I know I have. So I'm not saying that it's not real, but it's just another thing that we have to be able to risk assess, which I feel like the group of us are very good at because we do it all the time.
Absolutely.
So the fact is, it's like you're actually doing it to groups of people who may, I'm not, let me say this. It's not that everyone can't make a decision for themselves, but it's like you actually are you're reaching into these pockets of professions that, they're not slouches. They're not people that just are like, oh, I'm not going to look it up. In fact, anything that is said to be done, there's always going to be someone in the group who could be able to outline the reasons why we shouldn't be doing it. right? There's always those, especially I feel like fire, police. That's just those type A kind of personality people. You know, so it's like you're removing the ability for anyone in those groups to make a decision for themselves. And my opinion is if it starts here and it works, where does it end? This is one thing we do know, right? You don't give anything up because you never give it back.
You never get it back.
So we're giving up our freedom and ability to just, at least on a basis, saying we don't want to take a certain medication, right? Or a vaccine. Because you can't even call it a medication because it hasn't been. Actually, I don't want to say that. I'm not an expert at that, so don't quote me. Anyway, I just think that the whole scenario is crazy, and I think that if this does move forward, what's the next step? Like logically, what can be the next thing? Because now it's like if everyone caters to it and they actually fire a large group of people, and then you can't do anything about it. There's always going to be people. There's going to be people. There's the lines that are long to get into these jobs. Someone's going to be like, yeah, I'll go get vaccinated. Boom, got a job. Great, it worked out for you. But it's like, you really want to work for someone who's willing to just turn their back on solid employees that have given everything to provide that service, to make you look good? You know? It's like you said, from the chief, do you forget where you came from? You start from the bottom, you work your way up then, because I guarantee you busted your ass. You didn't get to that position. You didn't just walk into it. Now you're there. Now what do? You don't turn your back on your guys.
Ever.
And gals. Ever. They're your family. It's your family, you know, at the end of the day. Now, you may not be super tight with them, but what it stands for, that's how close you should be with these people. And the fact that he's not doing that, it's very disappointing. And he's got to look himself in the mirror. And if he can, well, you know, screw him. As I'm trying to be as nice as possible.
You're a lot nicer than I am because it's crap. It really is, dude. Well, it's not right.
Yeah, dude. It's asinine.
No, he's sitting up in his office. He's getting a healthy paycheck while Josh and his other personnel are responding to calls. Well, Josh isn't right now, but others are risking their lives for their community. You have to back your personnel. No. You have to. You need to be a leader, just as the sheriff is, right? So, I mean, Josh bring up a good point. This is one of the last things I want to talk about. If, let's say, those LA City and even county guys, right? They lay off, let's say, 800 LA City, another 1,000. It's going to throw the 911 system into complete chaos. It will absolutely, especially with the staffing issues that everyone's having right now. Now you want to lay people off because they don't have a vaccination. Okay, so what happens when your neighbor goes down with a heart attack or their kid drowns in a pool? And hey, sorry, our next closest engine's like maybe 20 minutes away.
That's going to happen.
Oh yeah, you think they think they have a freaking problem now? Wait for the massive lawsuits coming from the citizens. We're like, where are our firefighters? Well, they weren't vaccinated. I don't care if they're not vaccinated. Get them here to protect my family. We're here to give them a second chance. If that happens, it's going. I don't want to say Armageddon, but it's going to be wild.
Yeah, I mean I know AMR has a staffing issue right now. I mean the other day I saw a response, screen on their MDT.
Yeah,
45-minute wait time for AMR ambulance for a 911 call.
No way, is that
45 minutes in LA? In
wow.
LA, so they have the LA contract in certain parts of LA. And so there's delayed response times that are happening right now. In Beverly Hills, we have delayed response times. Engine was out the other day. Truck was sitting at the station. There was a man right down the street, and they had to wait for engine 2, which is up the hill. So those are small scale things that are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And then you throw, fire season's coming up. So we're going to have enough firefighters for all these wildland fires we're going to have. I mean, we're getting to the height of Southern California fire season, and we're getting rid of all these. And I want people to know, like, these are firefighters who are still willing to do the job. I'm still willing to do the job. I want to do the job. I love what I do. They're telling me I can't. And like we talked about, we have all the different reasons that we don't want to, and it comes down to freedom. I have my own freedom to choose what I put in my own body. But we're fulfilling the mandate. We never want to put anybody at risk. Like, that's the last thing firefighters want to do, is put anybody at risk. So people that say that we're doing that, it's just nonsense. We are taking the protective measures needed. We're showing up asymptomatic, COVID free. We're wearing our masks, we're doing everything we can to protect the community and still serve them. But I think we've kind of earned the right, first of all, by being born, that we have the freedom to choose what goes in our body. But secondly, we've worked through this pandemic. I mean, in the beginning, none of us knew what it was going to do. And I remember my very first call, I had the thought, like, well, this is like Ebola. Like I could die if I get this thing, right? Like, I mean, that's what I didn't know what this is going to do. I just saw the news and I saw it was coming from China and there's people coming here and it was, all this hype about, people just dying in the streets. And so of course that was all in my head. I'm just seeing all this stuff in my head. And so I didn't know what it was going to do to me.
Yeah.
But we all still showed up. And so I think people need to know, I mean, we're still willing to do that throughout all these times, and them putting us off, it just doesn't make any sense. We still want to do the job. Like, why are they putting us off because of this? It makes no sense.
You know what stat I've yet to find? So if anyone listening has this stat, please, God, send it to me. So I will never say this to anyone again. What I can't find is if you yourself are responding to a call and you are wearing all the appropriate PPE, which has been a lot more than the usual since the start of this process. Your gown, your goggles, your half mask or your N95s with your, with everything else on, your gloves, and sometimes, we were wearing the Tyvek suits in the beginning, right? On positive patients, right? Going through every single possible step, whether you thought it was over the top or not, you did it because that's what we were told to do, And again, we didn't really know a whole lot, so it's like absolutely, and it's like there isn't any stat that's out there that says if you're completely wearing all the appropriate PPE, that what your percentages of being able to contaminate or pass the virus on to someone who's not, whether for any age category, that doesn't exist. And if if anyone can find it, send it to me, and I will retract everything that I just said. But I will challenge anyone on that because I really want to find that information. Because right now, where I'm stand, that doesn't exist. And there's one thing that we know. I mean, people have gotten it for sure, especially in this job. There's been some guys it's rocked hard. There's been a couple guys that have lost their lives, which God bless them, and I'm so sorry that happened. But we're all still marching in. We don't stop. We keep going. We keep serving, right? So I don't know. I just hope that this gets out there and that people, and I feel like, look, obviously it's rad to get a lot of support from the guys and gals on duty and people that we work with or, work from other departments that reach out. Like, that's rad. But where this really lies is the public. They need to hear this. They have to. Otherwise, what else is going to change their mind? Because when they flip on channel whatever, and it comes on, and they just say, a bunch of firefighters are protesting because of the vaccine mandate. They don't talk about it. They don't hear about it. They don't get to hear this part of it, right? And I feel like this is the kind of stuff that really, not that it's trying to change people's minds, but definitely make them aware of what actually is happening. Because what you see on TV and what you think, a lot of times are two completely different things. Not what you think, but what's actually happening. Dang it, I messed that one up. But you saw where I was going with that. Either way. Anyways, dude.
Yeah, but Josh, dude, brother, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and taking time to come out here, man. We respect you. We love you like a brother. You're one of us. If there's anything we can do to help you, man, we're in full support. We're going to back Firefighters for Freedom. Anything you got going on, we're going to share, put out there. Keep the faith, man. Having you on here has actually encouraged me, dude, to see that you're how resolute you are and the stance you're taking for your beliefs. It's commendable. Keep pushing, dude. And if there's anything again we can do, man, we're here for you.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, this is like the hardest wrap up ever.
I know.
I just, I could sit here and bring a bunch of different stuff up, but I think the reality is, man, is that you are an example of which a lot of people in this industry strive to be. And not saying you make all the right decisions for everything, but what I mean is that you are living by your principles, which are good, and anyone dispute that one. You know what I mean? What you said, why did we get hired? Got hired because we're loyal, we're hardworking, we're trustworthy, we're willing to give whatever it is to provide what services that we agree to, So I thank you for coming on here. I thank you for leading by an example. That's unprecedented, dude. And I agree with Tim. Shit happens. Life's crazy. Wear a helmet, right? But good things do come of hard times as long as you got the right attitude, the right stance, and moving forward, And like I said, anything you need from us, obviously, we're little fish in the big pond, dude, but if we can start making some waves, man, we're there for you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, thank you.
I really want to hug you, but you keep falling away.
I was like, I want to reach across the table and just give a group hug right now. But right on, man. Thanks for coming, Josh. Really appreciate
Thank you.
it, dude. Let's get a let's go on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Bye, everybody. And that's it. Thank you for listening in, everybody. I'd like to thank our sound engineer who makes this podcast happen and makes us sound very good, Stephen Clark. And to our first sponsor, 89 Barbers. Look good, feel good, be great. Come get your haircut at 2 locations, Long Beach and in Orange, California. Your appointment can be booked at 89barbers.com. That is BARBRERS. 89barbers.com. Again, look good, feel good, be great. Check it out. It's my barber. He is the man. Thanks, everybody. Bye.